Hi, my name is Cody Cartwright, and today I'm going to be teaching you about communication in sports. Communication is the act of expressing ideas, information, knowledge, thoughts, feelings, as well as understanding what is expressed by others. With communication, sending and receiving messages are equally as important. Coaches need to understand what they're saying to their players may not always come across as what they're trying to get out. And players need to take this into consideration when playing the game because sometimes a coach may say something that comes off unintentionally wrong. With communication, verbal and nonverbal communication is very important. As a coach, a frown, a shake of the head, or a look in disgust can mean a lot to your players. Being able to realize what your players thrive off of and can grow from is very helpful. Having a demeanor that is intimidating or communication skills that are not very good can really hurt.
Watch this, watch his eyes. Chucky, what are you doing?
He's just saying grace.
Oh my goodness.
The next thing about communication is sending effective messages. As you've seen in that video clip before, that may not be an effective way to communicate with your athlete. There's many suggestive cues to sending effective messages. 1, don't talk too much. 2, don't assume that the athlete knows what you're thinking, so don't talk too little. Also, give positive feedback. And lastly, constructive criticism. When athletes make mistakes, yelling is not always the optimal way to teach an athlete.
I hope you understand.
Right, Thomas, have you ever got a shirt back from the laundry where it's got too much starch in it? You know, like you literally can't put it on because it's like made of wood? That's what you were like. You were so stiff.
If you've ever watched The X Factor, you all know that Simon Cowell is the king of constructive criticism. Another important part of communication is reinforcement. A positive reinforcement is a pleasant consequence or outcome that encourages athletes to try to repeat the desired behavior.
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
You win.
All right, what do I win?
Another beer.
Oh, I'm going for the high score.
Well, actually, Charlie's got the high score.
Hey, man, your clock won't flush.
All right, here's your trans fats. I'll see you next week. And, kiss your dad for me.
Well, my boy, tonight we feast. And this is for you, kiddo.
A bunny!
You've earned it. You're a first-rate smuggler.
Oh, what a cute little bunny! Peter, we need to talk.
Right now, Lois, the show's about to start.
Brian Gumbel, Greg Gumbel, brothers, bike cops, Gumbel to Gumbel, beach justice.
Lois, are you crazy?
Yeah, me and Dad haven't missed a Gumbel to Gumbel yet.
Well, you're gonna miss this one, young man. His report card came today. No more TV until your grades improve. Now get upstairs and study.
And knowing is half the battle.
There are many important aspects with reinforcement. Shaping is an important aspect. By using shaping, you break down a complex skill down and start with one aspect of the skill. So, shooting basketball, for example, you always start by teaching the player to keep the elbow underneath the ball when they're shooting the ball.
Ready? I'm ready. Everybody shoots differently. If you freeze frame from basically the waist up, it might look differently. Like Reggie Miller shot like that, I'm more like finesse, with a lot of touch. If you go waist down, it's all the same. As long as you have a good foundation, good balance, your consistency, your accuracy goes higher. Good art, and no matter if you make it or miss it, you always look good. Do what you just did again. Everybody see that space right here? You don't want the ball sitting on your palm like this. You see the difference? No, yes. All right, I want to keep that ball on my fingertips so that I can see a little bit of space in between the ball and your hand. What you got? There we go.
Another important aspect of reinforcement is rewarding good behavior and using punishment sparingly. Another important form of communication is providing feedback. Being able to use positive feedback in a constructive way helps athletes learn from this and grow. When providing feedback, coaches sometimes are so focused on improving athletes that they forget to use reinforcement. There's 3 types of feedback. There's non-reinforcement, which means failing to acknowledge when an athlete does something well, like effort, skill, execution, or improvement. Reinforcement is telling them they did well, pat on the back, a smile, or a nod. And descriptive feedback is describing exactly what the athlete did well, like their feet came out of the blocks clean, great job. That is all a form of feedback. Another important aspect of communication is attentive listening. As Pat Summitt, the great Tennessee coach, says, listen to develop effective, meaningful relationships with people. Listening has allowed me to be a better coach. This is a great concept because a lot of the times as players, you don't think the coaches are really listening to your concerns and questions. Being able to talk to your coaches and them actually hear and listen to you helps you have a lot more trust and helps with communication during, on the court, off the court, and with any other issues that you have going on. There are 2 types of listening. There's empathetic listening and active listening. Empathetic listening is hearing what others say with the intent of deeply and completely understanding their point of view. Active listening is listening and being involved in the conversation. So ask questions back to make sure that you're understanding what they say, paraphrase the content of what they're telling you so that you do understand, and use encouragement and get back advice of what they're really saying. So if you're wrong, you can understand.
First there was PlayStation, aka PS1. Then there's PS2, PS3, and now PS4. And that makes sense. You'd think after Xbox, there'd be Xbox 2. But no. Next came Xbox 360. And now, after 360, comes Xbox One. Why 1? Maybe that's how many seconds of thought they put into naming it.
Can you get the butter, please?
Yeah. However, with the Xbox One, I can control my entire entertainment system using voice commands. Up until now, I've had to use Leonard.
Then get the other one. Pass the butter.
Hang on. I don't feel like you're taking this dilemma seriously.
Fine, Sheldon. You have my undivided attention.
Okay, now, the PS4 is more angular and sleek looking.
No way!
It's true. But the larger size of the Xbox One may keep it from overheating.
Well, you wouldn't want your gaming system to overheat?
No, well, you absolutely would not. And furthermore, the Xbox One now comes with a Kinect included.
Included?
Yes! Not sold separately. Although the PS4 uses cool new GDDR5 RAM, while the Xbox One is still using the conventional DDR3 memory.
Why would they still be using DDR3? Are they nuts?
See, that's what I thought. But then they go and throw in an ES RAM buffer.
Oh, wait a second. Who's they?
The Xbox.
You're kidding!
No, I am not. And this ES RAM buffer should totally bridge the 100 gigabit per second bandwidth gap between the 2 RAM types.
This is a nightmare. How will you ever make a decision?
See, I don't know. What should I do?
Please pass the butter!
So, to sum things up with communication, just remember that sending messages and receiving messages are equally as important. There's nonverbal and verbal communication, which includes smiles, nods, thumbs up, and also looks of disgrace. With communication, also remember sending effective messages. Positive feedback, give constructive criticism, don't talk too much, and don't talk too little. Don't assume that athletes know what you're talking about. Also, using effective communication, remember to give feedback. Positive feedback. Provide information for athletes to learn from. Reinforcement. Include a verbal comment. Also, a pat on the back, a smile, a nod, or a thumbs up always helps. Descriptive feedback. Exactly what the athlete did that needs improvement or what they did great will help. And last but not least, remember listening is a huge part of communication. There's active listening and empathetic listening. When listening actively, remember to ask questions, paraphrase the content, and use encouragement. Empathetic listening makes sure you're actually hearing what they say so they understand that you understand what they're saying. So, with all of that being said, that sums up the chapter on communication. Communication is a very vital part in being a coach and also being a player. Taking into consideration the way you talk to someone, the verbal, nonverbal cues, and the positive and non-reinforcement. Just remember that communication is key and specific is terrific.